Hey ladies and gents, before we start the video, I want to remind everybody to go click that support button on the support program. We have a ton of codes coming your way, including free Essence Stones right now, a Mana Power Extract, plus Rune Fragments, and much more, guys. So if you're not supporting anybody, or if you are and you want to switch over to your boy, I appreciate it. Click that support button, get yourself in there. I want to say a big shout out to my top 10 currently: Jsto, 170, DG, 144, Lucy, Bon, 004, T-Pro, 002, and 731, plus anyone else who's been supporting and extending all the way to the 6,703, plus more coming, of course, along the way. So guys, if you haven't done so, click that. Let's move on to the tier list, folks. What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. First off, happy Saturday, everybody. It is time to update the tier list. That's right, the new Cha is out, and yes, there are some things we don't like, but this is undeniably one of the best characters in the game, and we're going to talk about how good she really is. I'm going to show you guys some examples, and we're gonna give you a full breakdown of who is now the new OP characters versus the old OP characters. Now, this is important to remember. This is based on testing, guys. It's not a personal opinion. This is based on numbers that we actually have done through the last few days where she's been out. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and break down everything and who belongs where and why. Now, there's going to be some changes, of course, because the meta has shifted. Some characters now less useful than they used to be, and it's going to get more and more dicey, and we're going to try to be as stringent as possible. We're going to be a little bit more strict than usual, and you guys can see here the tiers go from D all the way to Godly, and as usual, I have put the SRs in their own category. We don't really talk about SRs anymore. They're kind of like a forgotten relic that nobody really ever uses any longer. Now, let's go over all of the units in the game. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the D class. So unfortunately, it hasn't changed too much. There are some changes to these units. There are some minor buffs to these units. I unfortunately have not had a chance to go over every single buff for each of these breakers, but they're still not going to change too much anyway. So we're going to go Saw here, we're going to go Lim here, and again, the worst unit in the game and probably the most forgotten unit in the game at this point. I'm almost certain they're never going to buff this unit, and that is Dongsu. So there you guys go. That kind of puts your lineup together in regards to the D class. That will not change most likely, guys. We're probably going to see that for quite some time. Now for C class, we have Akari, we have ourselves Beck. Where's Beck? There he is. We have ourselves Emma Leroy. Where's Emma? Where you at? There she is. And then of course we have our boy Wu, the god of wind. There he is. Now, the reason why a lot of these characters are dropping, guys, and will most likely stay in this category is, of course, the dreaded power creep that every gacha faces. You have to understand how gachas work is every few months, sometimes every few years, you're going to get a character that comes out that nullifies another character of the same caliber or class, and in this case, these characters have all been pretty much replaced by their newer counterparts, right? And then that's what you're going to see as we rise. Now, rank B, this is pretty much what I call the abyss, where these characters are semi-useful but really have nothing to do right now. In this case, one of them is actually going to fall even further down. I'm going to put actually Alicia down here now. Now that Cha is out, you really have almost no reason to use Alicia any longer, unless you're looking for somebody who can provide you somewhat of a small shield and remove debuffs. But her class is just falling further and further down, unfortunately, now, especially with Cha out, right? So B class, we're going to put Charlotte and Harper. Harper's a lot more useful. Charlotte's going to sit in B class. Yeah, these kids are probably going to be the sole owners of this section right here for quite some time. Now, one cut above them is going to be SM Beck in the A class. Then we have, of course, Hansimi here, who's going to be your currently your premier wind support unit. I'm not sure what letter it's going to be yet, whether he's going to be a DPS or support. I mean, in the Monway, he does support quite a bit. He's not really that much of a DPS from what I recall. He's more like defending people and, you know, standing up to people, although he is German's strongest hunter. So we'll see. Germany's strongest hunter. I don't know whether they're gonna classify that as a support or a DPS, but I desperately think they need a new DPS for wind. Actually, no, I take that back. Not desperately. Miri is still pretty damn incredible, but they haven't had a replacement DPS yet. They've already had a new breaker in Goto. They haven't had a support or a DPS, so he can go either which way. We'll find out, I guess, as we get closer, right? Of course, we have ourselves Choi, who is the ultimate hunter and still fairly useful in a lot of different modes, just not the best fire unit. And then, of course, we have ourselves the last one in this rank, and that's going to be Lee Booba. Where's she at? There she is. Really good for dark support. and also just overall support in general for characters with her charmed debuff and her weapon, which does really, really well. Okay, so there you guys go. That is the A class round out. Now I will say this. We could technically put in old school Cha here, but I think she's too good to be there, so I'm gonna leave that. We could also put Min in here as well too, but he's universally good, so I'm gonna keep him where he's at. So Cha SS. Oh, sorry, did I miss a letter? I did miss a letter. I messed that up. Sorry guys. S versus SS. So let me switch this up. That's my bad. All right, so S here. Cha first place for sure. First place for sure. Then I'm gonna put Gina. We're gonna throw in Mei Lin. And we're gonna actually I'm gonna put Mei Lin top of the class here. We'll do this. All right, there we go. Mei Lin stocks are obviously rising because fire is no longer going to be the meta anymore. Because now, well, I mean, for WOBL at least, but everything else they're still really strong. But I think Mei Lin overall is a better buffer than Gina, in my opinion. She just offers way more for attack and defense and crit and everything else that comes with it, right? So there you guys go. I will put that as your S class. That really won't change much. The only real, you know what? I'm actually gonna put Gina over here as well, or sorry, Isla over here as well too. I think Isla's a better overall buffer than everybody else. It's just that she really supports Dark the most, but she's still a universal buffer. So I put her right here. You know what? I'd even do this. Let's go that. I think that's being a little more strict, right? So we'll put it right there. Now, SS class. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put Yu Siyun here. That's right. She used to be godly. I'm gonna put her down now. She's gonna drop one spot here. I think Goto also deserves absolutely SS. Best windbreaker. Gunhee deserves SS. Yeah, put Gunhee as SS for sure, in my opinion. Mirai. Where are you? Definitely deserves SS here. I'll put her one step below Yu Siyun. Actually, one step below. Yeah, maybe one step below Yu Siyun. And Thomas, of course, being the best out of all of them, in my opinion, right there. So, yes, people like to call him mid. Yes, people like to call him, you know, unworthy of a national level hunter in this game. But he still does carry heavily for light team. Especially, I can show you guys on my free-to-play. He's done everything for me, right? Now, one more unit. I'm going to be a little more strict here, like I said, okay? I'm going to put Essel here now as well. Essel right there. Right, when it comes down to being a breaker, if there's a break bar involved, no one's better than Essel. All right, and then Soren. I'm gonna put Soren right here above Goto. Actually, I'll put Soren even above Mirai. We'll put Goto right here as well too, because Mirai may eventually drop. No, you know what? We're gonna go like that. I think that's better. Soren is by far the best breaker in the game. By far. The only downfall to Soren is the fact that she's a hybrid DPS and she doesn't really support anybody else but Mei Lin and herself and Cha, which I guess really you don't need much else right now. But the fact that she doesn't really support attack that much kind of takes away from the godly section. So I think Essel's still overall a better unit because of the buffs that she provides. All right, and then this is it, guys. What you've been waiting for. Kanae still godly, and yes, Cha is actually a bit better. Even though Cha is a little broken in regards to the way she functions, she is currently the best unit by far in the game. And I should say by far. They're pretty close. But this is an easy example here. Like I have an 8, so I'm pretty broke, guys, you guys can see. But I did finally get another copy of her right there on my free-to-play. And I want to show my free-to-play account because I think it's important, right? You guys can see right here, here's my Cha. Right, 282. I've got an A9 weapon with her. I did 2-piece curse, 2-piece infamy. I'm trying to get 4-piece infamy here, and this is the set that I use on POD. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys real quick on a free-to-play POD with an A4 unoptimized Cha. All right, I just did this yesterday. Right there, look at this, 20 billion just on free-to-play, and she herself did the most amount of damage, doing about, I think it was 12 billion alone. So right here proves how strong she really is. Even though she's not optimized right now for my account, you guys can see the gear is not, it should be 8-piece infamy for this. She would have skyrocketed in damage with 8-piece infamy. And overall, like the stats aren't very good. My stats, like here, I'll show you guys my stats real quick on my Cha. Right, these are not very good stats. So I've got 50% crit, 186% crit damage. Look at this, like almost no damage increase, only 37.5k defense. So on a free-to-play count, it's not bad, but it's not great either. I need way more damage increase for this fight. Plus more defense pen would have been nice as well. So non-optimized Cha absolutely carried everything. This is for Guild Boss, and manually she's even better, right? If you control her, she's even better. Yes, the A3 part sucks. We still want that to be fixed. And I know some people are like, well, she'll be too broken. Well, you know what, guys? I want a too broken anniversary unit. I don't want an anniversary unit to go extinct in 6 months. I want this unit to last a whole freaking year. I want her to be so broken that we don't have to worry about another water unit until we have to, right? So I have a special soft spot for anniversary units, and I'm always under the same motto that anniversary units should not go extinct for the longest amount of time. So there you guys have it. Best unit in the game by, like, not by far. Again, Kanae is very close. Kanae still is OP as hell, but at the same time, when you're looking at, you know, the most powerful unit in the game, Cha takes the cake for sure. All right, folks, there's your tier list. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.